What's it like to play the Nintendo Entertainment System? The Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
So here are my last 4 NES games, and these 4 in particular hit me in a special place. They're probably for 3 of them for sure, are the 3 games I played the most growing up, and then a special 4th one with many memories. So I hope you really enjoy this last NES collection video. All the games have been covered now, and moving on to a new system after this. So yeah. So here it is, Excitebike, one of my first games I ever had. It came out in 1985, and it was a launch title for the Nintendo back then. And boy, this is just a fun game. I probably played this the 3rd most out of any game I own. And it has 3 different modes. It has the choose a course mode, and there's 5 different courses. Or the race mode, in which you just try and place first in the 5 courses. And it's a lot of fun. I loved just slowing down and right in front of a racer just to see him crash. And the difficulty actually takes a little, even though the game's pretty easy, the difficulty is there just enough for you to learn the tracks first and just go with it. You're on a dirt bike, and you're just hitting the jumps, and you gotta land properly, otherwise you'll spin out and totally wreck shop. It's very simple. A to go, B is a boost, and if you hit the acceleration too long, the motorcycle's temp will overheat, and you'll slow down. I mean, it's that simple. The 3rd mode, which is probably the most fun when you have friends over, is the kind of create a course mode. And you see this all the time in whether it's you and your friends come over, one guy leaves the room, and then you make the course, and you go in, and it's just a troll level every time. But friends and I used to do this where we'd create a course and then just try and beat it, and we'd have various bets, and it was always like candy. The best time I can remember is after Halloween. We'd all have our candy together, and we'd be betting on who can get the fastest time over the created course, and it's just a ton of fun. Basically, I have so many memories with this game. It means so much to me. I still have the original box it came in when I first got my Nintendo. I can't speak volumes enough about this game. It is a fun multiplayer, and anyone who has a Nintendo must have this game as well. Well, it was a matter of time before another Konami game came up, and what better one than probably the game I played the 2nd most on my Nintendo, Contra. And again, growing up, I didn't know the Konami code. Now I do, so now I can get farther than I ever have before. For the longest time, I just could not get past the 3rd stage, otherwise known to me as the waterfall level, and it has like falling rocks and all this. It's total nonsense for a small child to play, but nevertheless, I constantly played this game. The first 2 levels over and over again in particular. The 2nd one I don't really care for. It took me a long time for my child brain to grasp what I had to do on it, so it was just total luck whenever I did get past it. The funny thing about this game, this running gun action game, is in Europe it was known as Probotector because they couldn't show people kind of shooting guns at other people, so it was kind of censored, which I believe they got hosed on. I remember when I was living in Europe, a friend of mine that I made had this game, and I was like, what is this? It was kind of weird to see my childhood game being played and looking the way it did. I mean, this whole game kind of has this alien-esque feel to it with the boss battles and the later stages. But it's really fun. You get the spread upgrade. It's a must-have through the game. Fire is just this kind of loopy gun. It's probably the worst out of it. but it's notoriously hard. Like I said, I never really got past the third stage. It's a one-hit kill system. You only get like 3 lives to start off, so with the Konami code, that's a big help. During the stage, you go left to right, and then during the stage, you can the controls are just so smooth. In order to shoot down, you gotta jump. You can shoot diagonally, up, down, left, right. Enemies are constantly bombarding you in different directions. It takes a lot of practice to get good at this game. I mean, I have so many childhood memories of this game, ranging from myself just playing it on a Saturday afternoon after bowling. I mean, I popped this game in all the time whenever I turned my NES on. Friends would play this game with me, and we'd all get really mad at just trying to get past the stage. Day after day, just never could get past that third one. But luckily, it's still a fun game. It's super good. You have to have Contra. So here's my favorite game that I own for the Nintendo. It's called Adventures of Dino Ricky, and it's by Hudson Soft. And the best memory I have about this game is I originally had Legend of Zelda, and I just did not like the game. My child brain just didn't know how to play it. I hated it. So I went to Funko Land one day, my mom took me there, and traded in the game, and I got this game because I was obsessed with dinosaurs and Godzilla, and that was my jam back then. So this game really hit a soft note with me, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is a hidden gem. Now, it is notoriously hard. It's basically an arcade game. It's a top-down view of Ricky the Caveman, and you get various power-ups. It's like a shooter, and you get the speed power-up, you get points to gain more lives, and you get various upgrades on it, such as you start off with throwing rocks, then you move up to an axe, and then a boomerang, and then a torch. I prefer the boomerang due to it doesn't fly all over the place, and the game just is balls to the wall hard from the get-go. There's just constantly enemies just flying at you all over the place. And then at one point you have to jump on lily pads, and you'll see that the jumping mechanic is probably the most frustrating part of the game. I have gotten halfway through the game before, and I know for a fact that there are 4 stages because I still have the box. It's pretty much mint condition now. It's one of my favorites. You go through 4 stages: land, ruin city, or 3 stages actually. Land, ruin city, and mountains. And there's 4 worlds total, and there are checkpoints, so it is beatable if you get really good at it. But the time you got to put into it is crazy. The 4th stage has no checkpoint, but I've never gotten there to figure it out. And at the end of each stage, Dino must face a boss, like a big pterodactyl and then a dinosaur, for example. So much fun. I don't know what it is about this game, but it just resonates with me. And yeah, I gave up Zelda for it. And of course, many years later, I realized that Zelda was the game it turned out to be. But I digress. Every time I turn my NES on, I have to play Dino Ricky. It's just that kind of game for me, personally, and anyone I show this to, they end up falling in love with it as well. But that difficulty, man, and the enemies just constantly swarming at you, it is just not forgiving in that aspect. Well, it had to happen. Legend of Zelda, here it is. No, it's not my original cart that I got when I originally had my NES. But here's the story. Many years ago, Prince Darkness Ganon stole one of... So Ganon takes over whatnot, and you're Link, and you gotta go defeat him. And even the title screen has it. I mean, this game has a save feature, for crying out loud. I mean, the only other one I currently have is Kirby's Adventure, which has a save feature. But besides the point, I gave up my original cart in my original box because I didn't know how to play it when I was young. The game made no sense to me. I didn't know what to do, where I was supposed to go. I only ever got to the first boss, first little dungeon, so I figured that was the end of the game when I was little. That's why I took it to Funko Land and got Dino Ricky. I mean, there's good reason why a 4-year-old shouldn't play Zelda. It's just not that kind of game. It's definitely for an older person to play and really appreciate. Yes, I appreciate it now. The music is great. The layout, as confusing as it is, the land layout anyways, you really have to either have the manual, which has a map with it, or draw it yourself. I mean, it's not like I didn't give this game a chance when I was little. I was drawing maps trying to figure out where to go, but just didn't know what to do. I didn't understand the game. It was too mature for me. But the game itself is a masterpiece, for sure. I mean, you go through dungeons. You have to go through various stages of... it's almost like you're Link experiencing the trials to try and save the overworld that you're in. You really get a feel for where you're at, what Link has to go through. It's quite incredible what the designer Miyamoto did with this game. It's pretty crazy. But getting such items in dungeons like the compass or the map, I mean, it's just crucial to knowing. But I do have a problem with the overworld and what to do in this game and where to go next. That's always been a problem with me with this game. Unlike Link to the Past, where you kind of have an idea where to go, there's always been those weird cryptic things that you just don't know what to do in Zelda. It is a good game. The save features crucial for this. Yeah, Zelda's a must-have, plain and simple. So that was it. All the NES games I have are covered, and I hope you're surprised that Dino Riki is my favorite NES title. I doubt it's very many others. I hope you enjoyed the Funko Land story where I gave up Zelda and got Dino Riki instead. I hope it makes sense to many others. I do have Zelda now, and I still haven't beaten Contra to this day. It's a hard game, to say the least. I hope you enjoyed the NES collection, and you're looking forward to more games.